Hello, everybody. I'm joined here today with Heather Hink from Quantum Healing Within. I absolutely love Heather's work. Hello.
Hello, Laura. How are you?
I'm really, really well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. So happy to be here with you today.
It's so lovely to see you again.
You as well.
So, for everybody that's not come across me before, my name is Laura Whitworth, and I am the founder of Soul Center Healing Hypnosis. So, first of all, Heather, do you want to give us your full name, whereabouts in the world that you're based, and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Heather Hink. I am in Tennessee in the United States. I am with Quantum Healing Within, and I am a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner. I do the individual sessions with clients, and I do group healing hypnosis with clients. And yeah,
And your YouTube channel is amazing.
thank you.
I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
I always get really excited when I see there's a new video.
I love putting them out. They're so fun to share.
And so, how did you wake up spiritually? How did that occur?
Oh my goodness. Um, so I'm one of these that had one of those extremely rapid awakenings. I feel like, I don't know, I guess I planned it before I incarnated, but it's almost like I feel like the guides sort of just took me by the back of my shirt and said, "All right, you ready? You ready?" And they just tossed me in. My life shifted really quickly into all of these spiritual concepts. From everything from angels started coming into my awareness to extraterrestrials to just all of the things. It happened very rapidly, which I feel like was to move me over into doing this type of healing work.
And so, how did you discover this?
Um, you know, I think part of when you start going through your awakening, things start coming into your reality. It's almost like videos start popping up and documentaries will show up or books that sort of grab your attention. And I think I first stumbled across Alba Wyman's videos. She has so many amazing videos. And I can remember as I was learning all of these spiritual concepts and topics, I stumbled across hypnosis and I thought, wait a minute, these people are in hypnosis and they're bringing through all of this higher dimensional information that just resonated with me so deeply. I became really fascinated and found myself binge watching her sessions and then seeking out other practitioners to listen to theirs because I thought this is the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
And when you trained, tell me about that, how that happened, the first modality that you trained in.
Yeah, so I started out in Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis by Candace Crawl Goldman. And it just sort of popped up against one of those things that just pops up and you're like, oh, that looks interesting. I wonder what that would be about. I really wanted to figure out how do you do this? Like, how did they take the client into hypnosis and how do they navigate a session? So it was more curiosity when I first found it. I started taking the course and I loved it, but I thought, this is too much. I don't think that I'm going to be able to do this. So I just put it to the side. And then I continued to listen to other sessions. And I found myself when I was listening to the sessions, I just really started paying attention to how the practitioner navigated the session. And I would listen to how they took the client back and how they would go into past lives and then how they would connect things. And then one day I got that booming voice that comes in sometimes from our guides, and they were like, "You can do this." But it was loud. It was like, "You can do this." So I jumped right back in. I found a friend that allowed me to do some practice sessions with her, and that was all it took. I
Yeah,
was off and running.
yeah. And then,
Yeah.
so how did you find Soul Center Healing? Because you're also a Center Healing Hypnosis practitioner as well.
Yeah, you were one of those practitioners that I found a long time ago. I think I started listening to your channel. I want to say you only had around 400 subscribers at the time.
Yeah.
So that was a while ago. I've been with you for a long time. I felt such a strong connection to the work that you were bringing through. And then we had a session And I want to say it was before you started doing the training. I
I
can't
think it
remember the
was.
time frame.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just felt such a connection to you. So when you put the course out, I got your guidebook right away. That was one of the first things. And I started integrating that within the hypnosis sessions that I was doing. And then, of course, it progressed, and I ended up taking your course, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. Yes, no, it's incredible. It's given me so many incredible tools to add into my sessions, and they've gone to the next level. So,
And so tell me a little bit about your experience of the entities side of things, because with quantum healing and beyond quantum healing, we don't look at the entity side of things as much.
mm-mm.
And with soul center healing hypnosis, you do. So tell me a little bit about how you found that.
Oh goodness, so that was really what pulled me in. Working with clients, I knew there were some things, number one, that were blocking them from going into their sessions. Um, and I knew based on, Alba's videos and some others that there are entities and things, but I never could get them to come up. I could get the attachments. There was lots of things that we removed energetically, but I could never get the consciousness to actually speak with me. So there was just like a little component that was missing. When I started taking your training, and first of all of those videos that you share of the sessions are like gold, because when you see it in action and you watch from start to finish how it's done, it's like all of the dots begin to connect how to do it. So, I was a little nervous at first when I first got that little extra piece in there to start working with, and I actually found myself avoiding it. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but I used it, and it was amazing what it brings to the surface.
It really
And then
is though, isn't
all
it?
of the sudden, they all come up in that one little area, and you start to do the work of clearing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And it never ceases to amaze you, some of the things that you can find, because you'll
No.
find something new. You think you've seen everything, and then something else totally new will be attached to somebody, and you think, wow, this is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned there about those videos that I send out, I would love to be able to put a lot of that content on YouTube so that everybody could see it, in order to raise awareness, so that people understand that entities are real, that they are beings that live in a different dimension to us. And just because we can't physically see them with our eyes doesn't mean that they're not there.
Right.
Our eyes can only see a certain percentage of the available spectrum of what there is out there.
Yeah.
So our human eyes only allow us to see a certain little percentage of what there is. And so when we say seeing is believing, actually what we're saying is, well, we can only just see a little teeny bit of what there
Right.
is. But I think if I was to put all of those videos on YouTube, I think I'd get banned.
Some of them are a little intense, but
They are.
that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I have definitely felt a pull, especially on my channel. I don't share them all, and I try to share. I'm like you. I try to share the ones that aren't too intense or that I think is going to freak anybody out. But I also feel like we're moving into a time where it's important to start having more of an awareness of what's around us. I think as we ascend and we get higher in consciousness and frequency and vibration, we're going to be able to see more things around us.
Yeah.
So maybe it's starting off with the awareness that, look, these things are in your environment, whether you can see them or not. And unfortunately, as we know, they can become attached to you, but they can also be easily removed. So
Exactly.
nothing to worry about too much.
Yeah. And they've if you're coming for a session and something is attached to you, it's already there.
Yeah.
So, sometimes clients will say, oh, I'm a little bit nervous about that, the whole entity release thing. And I'll say, well, if you're nervous about it, if you do have an entity, it's already attached to
Mm.
your energetic body. So let's flip that, and instead of feeling nervous about it, let's feel excited about the fact that we're going to remove it, and you're going to get the flow of your energy back, and you're going to start being able to do all of these things that previously you've not been able to do, and your physical body's going to start working better. And I think that's one of the things that I really, really feel passionate about. I really want to raise awareness around the fact that these things are attached, these beings are attached to many, many people. And it's like we were discussing this earlier, weren't we? Normalize is probably the wrong word, but to normalize it in a sense, so that it's the same as someone going to the dentist, or the same as, you know, going to the doctor, or whatever it is, that, you know, when your energetic body is off, you've potentially had some grief or some trauma, or you're struggling with an addiction and you just can't seem to be able to get rid of it. Then you go and see somebody that does what we do, and they look at your energetic body, and we remove any parasites. And then we'll also take you on a bit of quantum travel as well, so you can find out more about your soul, and then speak to your higher self and find out why you got that entity. Why did you experience that trauma? And then tie it all together with a nice, neat bow. And that is soul center healing hypnosis. It's that full spectrum picture of everything, because humans are really, really missing a trick. You know, they go to the doctor or the hospital or wherever to get rid of diseases or things that have happened to their body, but that's the very, very last place that we look, isn't it? We're looking at the energetic body.
And the energy is where it begins. It begins energetically before it manifests in the physical. It's almost like we've got it backwards, or we just, for whatever reason, we never understood our energetic makeup and what exists around us. I look at the clients that come in, and they've been struggling with these diseases and disorders and all of these things, and they've been seeking help from doctors for years who just keep trying to treat the symptoms or suppressing it even more. And really, it could be an attachment, but it could also be the energies that just need to be released, that they need to bring up, that they've been suppressing throughout their life. So they could continue to go to doctors, but it's never going to heal them, because they're not getting to the root cause of the issue.
Absolutely. And so I feel this is it's the evolvement, isn't it, of the health industry.
Yes.
It's the next stage of health. It's, first of all, having an awareness that we're not just a physical body.
Right.
We're so much more than that. And then when we have an awareness of that, and at least, you know, the ability to accept that there are other things out there, then it's understanding that those things will use you as a battery. And they get in through trauma, through grief, through addiction, through hospital stays, things like that. And so, and then the more of these things that you get, then it opens you up even more, and then you end up attracting even more.
Right. Yes.
And some people can have, you know, multiple, the full spectrum.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I reached out to you and said, Laura, is there not a way that we can just scoop them all off? Because I had some sessions where it was one after the other, and you go, is there any end to this? And the client's exhausted and you're exhausted, and you just want to keep trying to help them, but it can be intense.
It can. And that being said, I guess we could take them all off in one big lump.
Right.
But for each one of those entities or spirits, it's important that they get their opportunity to tell their story. And it's important that the client understands where that particular spirit has been affecting their body
and what symptoms they've been causing.
Exactly, because when you get to the end of it, the client realizes, hang on, all of these things that I thought were mine,
not mine.
They're not even mine.
Not mine.
It's absolutely amazing.
It is crazy. And I love, You never know what you're going to encounter with this. It's a lost soul. There's a different sort of protocol than something that hasn't necessarily had a physical body. Um, but do you enjoy, because I find myself when I can talk with some of these entities that end up wanting to convert over into the light, it can be quite a joyful experience to bring that light into them and see how they convert. They start off a little bit and you're like, can I just show you that power source within you? You don't have to take their power. You have your own power. And they're kind of like, okay, you can show me, a little arrogance. And then all of a sudden you ignite that power within them and they go, oh, wow. It's like a whole different, and I'm just thinking in my head, I almost wish that I could see what you look like,
Yeah.
what your form is like. So I could just get an idea and see. The client I worked with yesterday said she had a nest of serpent-like energies around her knees. And when we ignited the light within, she said they all started lighting up. And it's like they transformed. You could just see them becoming different.
Beautiful.
I find that so joyful just to help them with that.
It's one of the best things, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I think as a practitioner, when you first start, it's a bit daunting because some of the darker ones, I mean, when you go toe to toe with the darker ones, it can be
Yeah.
very, very intense,
I
can't
am
it?
Satan. I am Lucifer. It's like, okay, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah. But when you get them to that point, negotiating with them, using their own ego to get them
Yeah.
to that point where
Yeah.
they realize that actually the path that they've gone down so far is quite rubbish and that they want to try something different. Like you say, that moment when the light starts to build and they feel it and they realize, oh my God, I remember this. I forgot it. I forgot who I was. It's the most wonderful feeling. The
Yeah.
most wonderful feeling, and also helping lost souls as well, that
Yes.
literally had no clue what to do when they died, because we're not taught that stuff, are we?
I know we're not. And that's another big mistake that I think we've made, or I don't know if it's a mistake or if it's just been held from us. Like, what happened where we did not learn?
I think it's been done purposefully because
Yeah.
there's many people in this world that do know about it, but I think
Right.
it's suppressed from the general public,
Yeah.
if you like.
Yeah.
But everybody should be taught straight away what to do if they
Yeah.
if they if they come out of their meat suit,
Yeah.
the protocol of what to do. Nobody
Yeah.
is. So everybody just thinks, well, a lot of people don't even realize that they've actually died. But for those that do, they're so scared they don't know what to do. And when you help those souls to tell their story, particularly those that were murdered as well,
Yeah.
because just
And
think
they're
about,
so angry. They
they're
hold so much
so angry.
angry,
Yeah,
rightfully so. Yeah.
yeah. And then the spirit or the soul of that individual who was murdered, when they attach to your client and your client comes to you with anger issues,
Yeah.
then the client understands, oh, right, so it wasn't actually me. It was this spirit that was just raging
Yeah.
every time I went into the emotion of anger. It
Yeah.
it brings up so much healing. And just think about the levels and layers of healing that can be achieved within that technique. If you're taking a handful of earthbound spirits, so lost souls, off of your client, not only are you healing the client, you're healing all of those lost souls and all of their family members who have been waiting for them.
Yes, I love that. I love when when I ask them to look into the light and see who's waiting there for you. And some of them, it's so emotional. Like I'll just feel my hand, I just put my hand on my heart because they'll start to cry because they see their family or their tribe. If it's, a Native American, their tribe is there waiting for them or whoever. It's just so amazing to reunite the soul with the
Yeah,
family, and so sad too that happens to us, that we end up wandering the earth, and a lot of them are just simply looking for a place to feel protected, because when you bring them off, they're always, well, not always, but most of the time they're apologetic. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. And they'll thank the person for giving them a safe place to be.
And if we think about the type of souls that will become bound, so the ones that die in wars and
Yeah,
tragic circumstances and die of addiction and injury, there must be millions of those types of souls wandering around over the ages. When you
right.
think about time as well. And sometimes you'll take an earthbound spirit off of somebody that will tell you the war that they died in, and it's from years ago, years and
Yeah,
years and years ago,
yeah,
and they've just been wandering around, raging, not realizing that they're dead, still trying to fight everybody, and then ended up attached to your client. So I see us as like the cleanup crew. We're here. We're here at end times. We're getting our hands dirty.
yes.
Literally helping all of the souls, all of the layers of density. And I'd like to use that analogy of the hot air balloon. A client will say to me, well, I just don't understand how I can have entities. I'm a light worker. I'm such a high vibration. But if you use the analogy of the hot air balloon, and that light worker is the hot air balloon that's been sat on the ground when they were fast asleep, and they've got all of the sandbags around them and the ropes, then they had the spiritual awakening and they start to fly up in the sky and raise the vibration and get higher and higher. They still can't take off and shoot through the roof until you cut the cords of all of those sandbags that are holding them anchored to the floor. And that's what these entities are. And that's why in this particular day and age, these entities are becoming known to us, whereas years ago, people that practice quantum hypnotherapy weren't as aware of them, because nowadays our vibration has raised so
Mm,
much because of the energies coming in that everybody's hot air balloons are flying here, but they can tell that there's something still weighting them down and they
yeah,
don't know what it is. I don't understand. There's like a part of me that's always angry, and no matter how much shadow work I do, I've forgiven this person, but yet it's almost like it's not mine. And that's because it's not. Because
right.
when you get that client in session, they've got 5 or 6 entities attached and it's their anger. So when you cut all of those ropes with the sandbags, the balloon can then fly, and then it's up to the
Absolutely.
balloon, isn't it, then how
Yeah.
how far it goes.
Yeah. And I mean, like you were saying, I, when we did my session for the training course, I came in and said, because you picked me to do the entity release day, and I thought, I'm good. I've done all my work. I've cleansed, I've cleared, I'm doing this work, and I didn't think anything. I don't even remember how many you pulled off of me, but right out of the gate, there was a big demonic, a big demonic entity latched onto my third eye. And I can just remember this evil laugh came out of me, and my conscious mind is over here to the side because you're still very conscious during a session. You're not completely out of it. You're consciously aware. And I thought, what is going on? What is this coming out of me? And then I could just feel all of these things moving around. So even if you're high vibration, even if you're doing your work and you're on your ascension path, more than likely you still have a lot of things going on in there. You don't even know that they're there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say
Yeah.
the
I think so
majority of people
too.
have
I
got
really
something,
believe so too.
and some people have got a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And those are the people that have got the chronic health conditions.
Hmm.
um they'll always have lots of gut problems and candida overgrowth and brain fog, and
Yeah.
the body will almost be starting to break down, and it's
Hmm.
because they haven't got their flow of energy moving through the physical body,
Yeah.
because the physical body and the energetic body work together. And so if the energetic body is being parasited, then the
Yeah.
physical body starts to show illness as well.
Absolutely.
It's just
Yeah.
fascinating, isn't it?
It's so fascinating. My whole world has expanded in ways that I never, like, I thought, really, did I sign up to do this work? Because before I was doing quantum healing, I was a web designer and a graphic designer and marketing. And um, I've always had a pull to metaphysical topics, and I've read lots of books, and I've always been very interested, but never did I see my life going in this direction. Yeah, it's amazing what we can do with this one modality and how expansive it is, and how you can integrate all of these different tools and things that you can use to help a client. And I'm sometimes quite surprised. Something will pop in my head and I'll just think, well, let me try this. And it works. And you're like, how did that work? But it does. It's like magical.
And that's just listening to your own intuition in the moment,
Yeah.
because those guys will always guide you
Yeah.
to what it is that you need to do.
I know they're like, get a crowbar and crowbar that energy off. And so I'm like, let's use a crowbar. And sure enough, it pops right off. And I'm like, okay. It worked, didn't it? Can we hammer that off a little bit? Just break it down. And it always seems to work. So
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic.
I do
So
wonder what they think up there or out there, wherever they are. Like, I wonder if they're looking down on us, kind of giggling when we're doing these things and we figure them out.
I think they must look at us and think to themselves, wow, I have so much admiration for
Yeah.
those guys, because this is not an easy place to be, is it?
No, it's not.
It really isn't. And for us to sign up for this work and say, right,
Right.
this is what we're going to do.
I'll do that. I'll
Yeah.
volunteer.
Yeah. And it's that kind of work that people either know about it, totally get it, know
Yeah.
what they've got and want to come to you for help, or people have never heard of it and think you're crazy
Yes.
when you even begin to mention what it is you do. So you just kind of don't mention it. You just say, I'm a hypnotherapist.
I know. And I've got some friends that I've started talking about the entity things, and I think they're like, she has done lost her. She's done gone off the deep end.
she's just dove straight off.
I'm like, I'm sorry.
But one
I
day,
signed this contract.
yeah, one day they'll be like, she just got it way before us. She just totally
Yeah.
got it.
We signed up to go a little bit ahead of everybody, didn't we?
We're here. We're here to sort everybody out who's ready
Yeah.
to ascend.
Yeah.
Clean everybody off, clean all the layers of density off, get them all sparkling, all as
Yeah.
high a vibration as possible, so when the big light comes in, their bodies can tolerate it. And
Yeah.
even people that have entities attached that are on the ascension path, I would say to those people, I believe that when the light comes in anyway, those entities will just,
I think so too. Yeah.
but it makes you feel so much better when you have them removed, because your physical body gets better. You've got more energy. You can
Yeah.
start to really concentrate on raising your vibration, and you feel so much better because you don't have these parasites taking your energy. It is just yours.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that, I mean, if you think about how complex humans are, I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it? We've got a physical body, an energetic body, emotional body, etheric body,
Mm-hmm.
and we are subjected to beings in other dimensions that we can't see with our physical eyes because they can only see a certain percentage of what is out there.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like, I mean, it's mind blowing, isn't it?
It is
That
mind blowing.
they've designed the human body so we can't see what potentially can be attached to you, sucking
Right.
all your energy out.
Yeah, and I mean, it's almost like maybe it's a little good thing that we can't see it all, because I think we'd all be running around freaking out a little bit.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if when you think about going to the pub, this is the types of things that I think, not that I ever go to the pub, but those are the days. But like if you went into a pub and you see all the people drinking, in my
Yeah.
head, I'm seeing not just the people drinking, but I'm seeing all of the spirits, the
Yeah.
ghosts who are also in there that still think they're alive, or
Yeah.
that are sat there drinking. And then you see all of the bar flies around the bar, and you see all of the demonic entities attached to the bar flies, the ones that are literally almost dead.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see all of the little, the darker ones working the puppet strings on those. And I think to myself, no amount of alcohol is ever going to make me not see this for what it is now. No amount of
Right.
alcohol. It's
Right.
our world is insane.
I know. I know. And when you were talking about how many lost souls there are, and you mentioned this, especially in hospitals, and places where especially there's more, all of those people that work in those hospitals that we're not taught to protect our energy. We're not taught, we don't understand that layer of protection around us, that auric field, and how it needs to remain strong. And there's so many people that work in those areas, or even just visit those areas, or go in for, whatever they're going into the hospital for. And you've got all these lost souls that just need help.
Yeah. Then all the
Oh my
people that are working
goodness.
there are always
Yeah.
so sad and stressed because they're seeing trauma and tragedy, and
Right.
they're working under stressful conditions. There's not enough
Yeah.
time for everything that they've got to do. They might go home and drink quite a lot at night time because they feel that they need to do that in order to unwind because of
Yeah.
how stressed they've been at work. And then they're around all of those people where the souls are coming out of the bodies in the hospitals, and then
Mm-hmm.
those souls just come and attach to the doctors, the nurses, the paramedics, the cleaners.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen so many hospital cleaners throughout my career who have had plus 50 earthbound spirits
Yeah.
attached.
And you can trace them back to that hospital when you
Yeah,
ask them, where did you attach? It was all in that one place that they
yeah.
picked them all up at.
Wow. I mean, we could talk about this. We could talk about this all day, couldn't we?
All day.
But let's move on to ascension now. Let's talk a bit
Okay.
about ascension.
Yeah.
So you've had some incredible sessions, and I love the sessions that you've had as well that go into inner earth, because that's my
Mm,
absolute favorite.
mine too.
All
Yeah.
of the inner earth stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but what's your favorite session so far?
Oh my goodness. I think my favorite session is the session I did with Kim. Kim came to me as a client, and she and I have become friends. We've had some amazing sessions together. She and I do like a collaborative session where she'll bring some questions and I'll bring some questions. And we just had one session that really grabbed a ton of attention. It started out in inner earth, and then we started out talking about Earth's rebirth and the energy that's coming to the surface, and so much good stuff came through in that one. It really went from one range all the way to the other one. It covered everything. So I love those types of sessions where that information just flows in and the client has a really strong connection with their higher guidance, their higher self. I feel like I could get lost sometimes in those sessions.
Me
How about
too.
you?
Me too.
Yeah.
That is what I live for.
Yeah, me too.
That's what drew me to this work, the ascension stuff.
Yeah.
Then actually through it, I've found my calling in terms of really helping people.
Yeah.
But the draw for me was, oh my, I've got to find out more about this.
Yeah.
There must be more. And there just wasn't enough content out there on the internet. And so I was like, right, so that's going to be me then.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that then.
And I love it, and I'm so grateful that you were putting your content out there so that we could all find you and come into this amazing soul center healing hypnosis that you're providing everyone.
I still
It's
can't believe the journey
Yeah, and
where
it's a
where
great
it's
group that
led.
you have going on too. I mean, it's a great group in there,
Yeah.
just really a great group of people.
Lovely people.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely people. And all that wonderful combination of pure light, but also a light warrior.
Yeah,
You know, because
for sure.
you've got to be a light warrior, haven't you?
You do.
You've got to genuinely care and want to help and heal people. That has got to be your ultimate focus. but you also have got to be somebody that is not going to be put off when
Yeah.
when a demon starts swearing at you.
Yep. Just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. It's funny because we were talking about this when in the training we were talking about horror movies. Somebody brought that up in the training class about, I loved horror movies growing up. I don't know what my fascination with it was, just scary movies. It was more like the paranormal things and the things that scared you. But it's interesting because I feel like that a little bit sort of got all of that fear out of me, so that when I stepped into this, it doesn't bother me. Like nothing that they can say or any type of presentation that they bring on, it doesn't affect me. So maybe that helped me a little bit when I was younger, sort of to get to this place where now I'm dealing directly with those things.
It's like a training ground, isn't it, in a way?
It is, yeah.
I think I have my training ground working on the working men's clubs of Britain. And unless you've been to those clubs, which I'm guessing a very, very beautiful and classy lady like you hasn't.
No, I'm not even sure what that is. I don't know. Do I want to ask?
Yeah. Everybody over in America has got this impression of England that it's, really posh and everybody drinks tea and it's really well to do. But there's like a dark underbelly of Britain.
Yeah.
And that kind of centers around working men's clubs, which are like drinking establishments.
Okay.
Where people get together, normally at the weekend, and they do bingo. Do you guys have bingo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So they do bingo, and then they have a singer on the stage.
Okay.
Who sings and is largely ignored by everybody because they don't care. They just want to play bingo. Well, everybody in these places is so rough. I mean, and once you've been spoken to by a lot of the people that go in those kinds of places, no demon is ever going to bother you.
It's a nice little training ground there.
Yeah, exactly. So what's your take on where we are now with regards to ascension? How close are we? Because like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I thought we were ready then. I thought we were ready to go.
Yeah.
And now we're still here. And I know this is a whole journey that we have to go through. And it's the Great Awakening. But, how much longer is this going to be?
I don't know. I'm like you. I went through the rapid awakening. Everything sort of flew at me at once. And I remember just right as it started happening, I literally thought it was happening then. And when I was talking to people, I thought we were all waking up together. I thought this was like a group effort, and then there's going to be a flash in the sky. So I bought into all the things that sort of come into reality. And I had to learn, okay, hang on. That's not quite how it's working. I really don't know. I sort of take everything that I hear in sessions with a grain of salt. It's sort of like I don't take anything as though this is going to happen now. Timelines, I've thrown those out the windows. I don't even like when they come in to sessions anymore because I think time is so different outside of this reality. You cannot, they can't even tell us. And also our energy is constantly changing and what we're focusing on. So we're responsible for what's playing out. I think we have a ways to go, really, because I feel like more people have to wake up in the way that we did. And the only way to do that for most people is with some big something coming into your reality or some shift in your life or it's not usually gentle and easy for most of us. We have to sort of be shaken awake a little bit. Well, I think there's more shaking.
Yeah.
That has to happen.
I think you're totally right. And
unfortunately,
I used to listen to all of the dates and the timescales that come through in the sessions, and you think, oh, that session was amazing. That must be right.
Right.
But then after a certain amount of time, when you hear the same things and the dates keep changing, you finally realize that those guys upstairs haven't got a clue regarding time. They know it's inevitable. They
Yeah.
know it will happen. They know the light has won. They know that there is enough light grounded on this planet for the process to flip to the light.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of when that catalytic point will be, they just don't know.
Yeah.
And so now, instead of getting hung up on that, I try and spend every single day enjoying that day that I am in as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then, whilst I'm feeling joy around this particular day, also then in meditation, just anchor that energy to the new earth and pull it in, and just
Yes.
keep thinking about the new earth. And I
Yeah.
think it's just inevitable. There's too many people that know about it now. There's too many people that are awake. There's too many people that know that everything that's been going on this planet, should not have been happening. And so there's enough of us now to collectively bring that timeline into being. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how long is it going to take?
Yeah. I think, and that is the one message that comes through loud and clear in the sessions is it's up to us, really. I mean, we're in control. If more people would realize how much power that they have, that they could shift over into what they want to create, as opposed to sort of being stuck with where we are and what's been happening, we could shift the balance quicker. They've said we're literally just a step away. You're right there. But because more people stay focused in the what's happening in the worldly events and staying stuck in the fear and all of those lower vibration emotions, that sort of keeps that balance. It keeps us right here. We're still experiencing that frequency. So it's just a matter of, what do you want to create and what do you want to see? And we're already there. We're just not, it's just not fully anchored. But that's up to us. And even from the perspective of, will it be a massive like light event or a massive shift? I almost feel like it's almost about us doing the work. Like, we need to figure this out so that we learn and we grow from our mistakes,
Yeah,
so that we don't repeat them ever again. And how do you learn other than shifting out of where you've been into where you're going?
beautiful.
It's all inner work.
It is. Ascension, it's an
Yeah,
inside job.
it is. It
Yeah,
is. That's what they say. Do the work on yourself. Don't focus on anybody else. Let them be where they're going to be.
yeah.
Take care of you.
So what final message do you want to give everybody that's going to listen to this chat today?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I would say to anybody that wants to do this work, it's amazing. It's so fun. It's challenging. It will challenge you like nothing else. But it's the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. And there are many great ways of learning it, but Laura's course is fantastic, and it gives you everything that you need to get started. So I would definitely recommend checking it out and becoming part of the Soul Center Healing Hypnosis family, which is just amazing.
Thank you
And then
so
you and
much.
then they can pull entities off like we do.
Yeah. And it's so rewarding.
I make it sound like it's a fun thing. It's not for the client, but it's wonderful for me to get them off, and
Yeah,
it just feels amazing when the client emails you the next day and says,
yeah,
for the first time, and I can't remember how long, my thoughts are my own. I don't have voices in my head that I didn't realize were not my voices, or I'm no longer having the thoughts of I'm not worthy. Those thoughts, you're not worthy, you're not good enough. Whatever they're saying, it's like they're gone. And
it's
that just makes you feel amazing.
it fills your heart up, doesn't it? And
Yes, it does.
once you've done one, you just want to do a million
Yeah.
because of how it makes you feel to help that person that is your client that day, but also to help all of those other beings as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it.
Incredible.
I love talking to them. It's just, they're so adorable sometimes, even though I know if I saw them, they probably wouldn't be adorable. But when you're talking to them, I just think, you little sweet thing, you just forgot your light, didn't you?
It was in you all along.
And then they're like, I'm so sorry that I was causing you that. I didn't realize it. And
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
they
It's
just
absolutely
scoot them off to the light.
And so if people want to book a session with you, where do they need to go?
They can go to my website, which is quantumhealingwithin.com, and they can book a session there. They can also find me on my YouTube channel, which is also Quantum Healing Within.
And that YouTube channel is amazing.
Thank
so
you.
Everybody make sure you check out that YouTube channel because it's absolutely superb. Heather, it has been a pleasure to see you again today. Always
you
is.
as well.
You've got the most incredible energy. You are an absolute lighthouse, powerhouse.
Well, I think that you are as well. And I'm so appreciative for all that you've done and all that you've done to help me grow. I'm so grateful.
Sending lots and lots of love your way. And hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Yes. Thank you, Laura. I've enjoyed this so much.
Me too. Take care, my love.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.